We're about to report on one of the worst purchases and sales, I think, since we started covering the Hot 10 together, Jeff.
Yeah, I really feel for this person because this sale stung.
We have over $80,000 in comics that trended above the 12-month average. Hit the subscribe button. The hottest comic books in the world. Number 10 on the list, Predator, number 1. We're looking at 3 different 9.8 copies outdoing the 12-month average, the highest for 510, up 18%. Predator Badlands comes out in just a couple months. The animation that came out this last year was excellent. Speaking of excellent, Alien Earth is breaking records. It's a lot of focus on Alien, Predator. We have an unannounced movie or show in development. Probably has to do with the Prey, straight to streaming service movie that we all expect to see. If you are speccing or looking to collect any Predator books in particular, I want to highlight 2 that I think are underrated that the diehards know. As a collector myself. The first is Predator number 1, the 1 in 500 in Hyukuli. I think this may be the most glorious shot of Predator on a comic book that's ever been made, and you can get high-grade copies for under $100 right now. Back in 2022, Marvel acquired Predator, so this is the first issue and the incentive from that run. Another book that the diehards know is Alien Predator, Deadliest of the Species, limited to 1,000 ash cans. They were silver, were released at various conventions in the early 90s, and that book is actually the most expensive modern Predator comic book that exists.
In at 9, Avengers 57. Now, this book from 1968, Silver Age, really greatness when you look at this cover. Something very memorable every time you see it. You might not know it's a key when you see it, but you're going to remember it.
It's kind of a double key, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you have the second appearance of Ultron, first appearance of Vision. We had 5 sales with the 12-month average this week alone for over $2,200 spent with a year-high sale even this week. The 8.5 sold for $900. That's up 35% for that year-high sale I just touched on. I haven't seen this book that sounds a little bit aggressive. So we'll have to do some diving as usual when we hear numbers like that. We usually want to check the book and see what was going on there. I don't recommend necessarily you pay that price, but it's a great book. It's something people should own if you're a collector and have it in your collection. Now, there's a lot of buzz on this book, usually in the shadows, but even more so now with some potential updates here on Vision Quest. We kind of need to know what's going on with Vision, right? Kind of left hanging there in a white Vision form. We know that he's going to be coming back in this show and to see potential Ultron as well. So do keep an eye out for Avengers 55 as another book that you might want to have a pulse to. This book is great, so I recommend it. I'm excited for the future of it. And in at number 8 is
Amazing Spider-Man 300, first full Venom. 14 different sales above that 12-month average, over $7,000 in sales. 9.4 had 5 different copies, outdid the recent 12-month average. $700 heights. The Newsy 9.4 went for $100 more for $800. That's an increase of 8%. McFarlane, CGC did a collab post teasing that there's a signing coming. We're seeing a lot of books that were on the trending this last week that were kind of just like random cool McFarlane covers that had a major uptick in copies sold, largely because, people are getting them ready for signatures. Well, I also want to put out there that if you're looking at speccing on Venom right now, outside of Tom Holland's spec for the symbiote, there isn't a whole lot of money being spent for the IP of Venom. They're not prepping for a movie appearance. If anything, you're prepping for symbiote stuff to happen. So I would encourage people to take a look at Agent Venom because that is where the true spec lies when we're moving on from Eddie Brock. You can get his first appearance in ASM 654. Flash Thompson acquires the symbiote and becomes Agent Venom in this issue, and Key Collector reports a high $25 average, so it's very affordable.
Speaking of affordable, book number 7 here on the list. Not really that affordable. Incredible Hulk 340. This had 12 sales above the 12-month average for over $4,600 spent. Now, I just had a live sale on Instagram, and I can't tell you how many McFarlane books I sold between Spawn, Spider-Man. There had to be at least 25% of the books I sold to this sale were McFarlane books. So the McFarlane effect is real. So if you're going to post something on CGC, expect to maybe potentially pay a little bit extra because the book's going to be extra hot. Now, this book deserves to be on this list regardless because it is so spectacular via the cover. But we saw a 9.8 sell this book for $1,079. That's up 6%. And then 9.6 sell for $450. That's up 17%. With 4 copies total this week, that outsold the 12-month average.
Dude, officially, this book is kind of like trending a little bit more aggressive in pricing than New Mutants 98.
And that's where I have to ask the audience this, because for me, I know where I lie in this question. Would you rather have a New Mutants 98 in a 9.8, or would you rather have a Hulk 340 in a 9.8?
Do yourself a solid. If you want to support the show, we send out comics every single month. ComicTom.com. We have Deadpool Batman, issue number 1, David Nakayama, Magic and Poison Ivy on the major crossover, one of the biggest Marvel books of the year. Guaranteed, 1 per box. Hit the link, support the show. Number 6 on the list, Marvel Superhero Secret Wars issue number 8. $6,000 in sales across 16 plus transactions. We have a 9.8 going for $510. That's up 7%. So the first question I want to hit you with, Jeff, just, before we move on from this number, that is the same cost of a Predator number 1 at a 9.8. So just kind of remember that. You can get a Secret Wars 8 for the same amount for a first Predator. A Newsy 9.8 went for $1,700. That's up 42% because this book in newsstand was hovering in the $1,200 to $1,300 range. And then we started seeing some of these really big purchases. $1,700 makes this $400 to $500 more expensive than an ASM 252 newsstand right now. And that just doesn't make sense to me.
No, we kind of covered the percentage of numbers from newsstands to direct editions. So when you factor that in at this point in time, it just doesn't make sense that it sells, 4 times the normal 9.8 value?
What do you think? Do you go Predator 1 or Secret Wars 8? Both are in a 9.8. Gut decision. Go, pull the trigger.
Predator 1.
Ooh, hot take. Let them know in the comment section below. And maybe next week, the community can answer that question in the comment section, and I'll give you my take. It's Predator 1. All right, number 5 on the list, Ultimate Fallout number 4. We have the first appearance of Miles, 8 sales, $2,700. 9.8 went for $950. That's up 6%. I want to know your thoughts, Jeff. I mean, there's a analysis by Key Collector that I think is very astute and encompasses what I think is the vibe in the comic collecting and purchasing market. Collector apprehension from the extreme volatility of the secondary market boom has kept this issue from consistently qualifying for the Hot 10 most of the year, though it has now made its 4th appearance on the list.
This is a book where I would rather have this in a 9.8 over a Hulk 340 and a New Mutants 98.
Damn, and I feel the same way about that. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. We don't have much news about Miles. In fact, we have been waiting for a New York City Comic-Con to get news on Spider-Man in general, expecting to see brand new day announcements, expecting to see probably the Spider-Man Noir, some updates on that. That's coming out next year on Amazon. And over this last week, Sony pulled out of New York Comic-Con. So we may not get anything.
Yeah, and first off, let's give a shout out to Tom Holland to heal up too quickly. So we did see him take some type of concussion injury, and sounds like he's going to be out till the end of the month. So I don't know. It could be more serious than we normally, information-wise that we get.
More delays too. I mean, this movie's already been pushed back.
Yeah, I mean, they say it won't delay, but yeah, right. So, but it's tough with this book and this character because, when you have the whole Spideyverse thing, it's kind of like Stranger Things. Stranger Things feels like it's been going on for an eternity, and we only had 5 seasons, but it feels like it's been going on for 9 years. So Spider-Verse is just taking too freaking long to put these shows out, and that's a freaking problem. That's why we're just not seeing continued growth and excitement. But don't get fooled. This is building a generation of kids who love this character, and that's one of the reasons I think 9.8 in this book is just more of an exciting potential better investment.
Number 4 on the list. I feel the same way about this book, House of Secrets 92. This is probably my favorite book on the list this week. 5 sales, $6,200. 7.5 went for $2,500. That was a year high sale. That's up 17%. But also the 3.0 and 2.5 both had year high sales. This is such an interesting, beloved book because regardless of there not being a whole lot of updates on this property in particular, it's one of the few DC comics that performs solidly well and jumps on our list in and out. And doesn't it make sense?
Oh, at this point in time, and really in general, this book was weak at one point, but right now, DC horror being one of the most coveted and hottest places that people are picking up books and have it be a black cover and have it be a Bernie Wrightson and have it be a Bronze Age key. I mean, this book hits on so many levels for people that there is no surprise that it's on this list. And really, I'm more shocked that it's not on here more often.
Well, it's endured a lot. Take a look at this. In 2024, a 9.8 sold for $84,000. The 2021 record was $90,000. So yeah, it sold for $6,000 less. But dude, most books in that time frame have taken a way bigger hit than 6K. In 2021 and prior, 9.8 heights were $14,000. So even though there was a $6,000 market shift in the highest of grades, we're talking an increase of $70,000 value in a short 7 years.
That's freaking crazy. I did not know it was that broad of an increase.
Well, let us know what you think in the comment section below, because I think there are other DC books that can start creeping up with the amount of optimism that I personally have with James Gunn and this new DCU.
To not have Swamp Thing in the DC, EU or U, whatever they want to call it, would be criminal. But we know he announced that he wanted to have a movie back in 2023.
Number 3 on the list, Invincible #1. Something really fun that we were chatting about with this book is that, one, there is 144 issues in the entire story, because it's a completed story. And it got battle beasts and stuff like that now. The universe is expanded, is what I'm saying. But in 144 issues, every single issue in high grade goes for at least double digits. What a major accomplishment as far as collectible value.
This is one of those entities and titles right now that I'm seeing that I'm finding people want to be completists in. They're picking up all the issues because they're impacted by the TV show, and or their friends have expressed to them how great the read is on this book. And with 144 issues, it's obtainable. Granted, it's not going to be the cheapest thing, but it is something that you can jump on board and get into. And let's not even talk about second prints. Second prints are ridiculous. Second prints are
triple digit.
Yeah, I mean, it's remarkable how well these books are doing on the secondary market.
Shout out to Key Collector for really honing in on that, because we've covered Invincible so much, but it's such a true statement.
It is.
High grade Invincible. And I can't think of any other run that's quite like that. I mean, yeah, it's a very strange thing. But also, they mentioned the scarce second printings, and then there's just random keys. You have Invincible 11, Origin of Omni-Man, very sought out after, and it has exploded in the last year. I regret selling my copies when I got mine. Well, we have Invincible 1, first appearance on the list, because guess what? We have another 9.8 sale going for $4,900, up 15%.
This is where it gets crazy. This is the biggest fail on the list.
Ooh, of the year, possibly. Use code TOM101 on Key Collector and unlocks a free 2-week subscription of the app. Get access to this very list before we hit the mic, and catalog your comics. Get suggested pricing. Up your comic game. Support the show. Biggest spec, investment, purchase, anything fail that I think we've covered in a while.
Yeah, and it's tough because you don't want to see this for anybody, but
Giant Size X-Men #1 at the list at number 2.
This specific book sold this year in June for $30,000.
9.8 white pager. Damn. Just that alone is very impressive. I mean, a Giant Size X-Men 1, 30 grand for a white pager, that seems very appropriate. Most people are going to pay a bit more for a white pager. The heights that this comic book ever reached were because of the white pagers.
Yeah, and to be fair, the person who purchased this probably felt they got a really good deal, because prior to that, really, I just think in a couple months prior to that, so pretty recently, sold for $35,000 or $36,000.
But this same book, this month, what did it sell for?
$21,300.
All right, so this is the lowest sale that this book has achieved this year. And it's so low that it was questionable. We pull up the grader's notes. It's a 9.8 white pager. Bottom left front cover has a small tear. And we look at these pictures that we can find, because it's sold more than once. So we have more than one picture. And it definitely looks like there's a little tear on this cover.
Now, this book is gorgeous.
If it didn't have that tear,
maybe
9.9 potential.
Yeah, I mean, it's that pretty. For a square bound book, you're just kind of wowed by it. So, you make that decision if you think 9.8 is fair with a tear. Okay. And I think they even said it had a fold, right?
Like a little crease.
Little crease.
From
So
that.
I think somebody read that wisely.
Do you think somebody read it for the $30,000 sale, or that the person who actually read it was the one that got it for $9,000 cheaper than its prior sale just a couple months ago?
Yeah, I think I'd like to think that person read it twice, did read it, like when they bought the $30,000 copy. And if you're spending $21,000, you probably read that as well. So I'd like to think they did. Because I'm telling you, they felt good with a $30,000 purchase when it's coming off of a $35,000 or $36,000 purchase.
You see the white pager, so maybe you're like, sure. But the thing is like, what if you didn't look at the grader's notes? And I mean, the only thing I can think of right now that goes against what you're hypothesizing is that the purchaser at the 30K marker and now seller at the 20,000 range, he sold it so quick. Why else would you want to get out of the book unless you made a mistake?
I mean, for those people who are in that world and realm of just buying these books, I mean, it's hard. Like, you can always speculate. Maybe this person just found another investment. He wants to move his money into something else.
Pull
so
it
like,
out,
yeah,
whatever.
I put my money in this book, whatever, I'm moving on, and I'll just take the loss and I'll make it up on another investment. Like a lot of people will do on that upper end, right? Like, why have your money sitting in a depreciating asset because every book just seems to be going down? It's like, let me get my money back. I'll reinvest it in something different.
Or they really freaking screwed up, because regardless, the result was a $9,000 loss in months.
It's 30%.
Crazy. On one of the hottest books in the world, hit the subscribe button. A 9.4 went for $57.60, up 2%. People are after this for a lot of good reasons. The mutant era is inbound as early. I mean, it's already started, but it's going to really kick off with Avengers Doomsday. The number one hottest book in the world is Frank Castle, first appearance of The Punisher.
From not being on the list at all last week to now being number one.
10 sales, $25,000. And here's the thing. We do have a 9.4 going for $57.60. That's up 2%. But we don't have any other higher graded sales to report on. So that tells you that there's a ton of sales happening on this book. But there was also a gem, a jewel, a Mark Jewelers. Mark Jewelers 8.5 broke records this last week. Last selling in 2021 for $35.50, up 3% for $36.50. Put some respect on that ad.
Yeah, I guess so.
S tier, baby.
2021, I guess, up 3%, whatever. But why wouldn't you buy a common book, all right, but in a more special, rare manner, right? Like the newsstand, but this doesn't come in a newsstand. This comes in a Mark Jeweler. So if you're going to buy a copy of a book that's pretty common, freaking get it with a Mark Jewelers if you can. And any grade, to be honest. Like, I would want a Mark Jeweler in a 1.8, a 2.0, a 2.5, a 3.0. Like, you name it.
You could probably get a 9.0 ASM 129 with that 8.5 money spent.
I would overpay to have it as a jeweler, right? I'm not saying like ridiculously, but if the market is like $3,650, if we feel confident, would I pay $38 to just get it as a Mark Jewelers because I want to put my money in one of those books? I just may.
We've asked the community a lot of questions. Let me hit them with this one. Do you go 9.0 ASM 129 or 8.5 Mark Jeweler for the same price? Just sound off in the chat. And then, of course, as always,
collect the old and gold and geek responsibly.
Enough said. We do a lot of giveaways on the show, comictom.com. Join the SMS group. That's how we contact you. We text you and let you know you won. There's a lot of books that were not claimed. We do a lot of giveaways, like all the time, multiples of them. So I'm giving everybody 1 week to check their phone to claim giveaways. Otherwise, we're redoing the drawing and we're going to be giving away a ton of stuff. So if you haven't joined in, now is the time, because we're about to announce so many giveaways for some really cool books. comictom.com. Have a great week.